It's Nightside with Dan Ray on WBZ, Boston's News Radio.
I've had a great week. I've enjoyed this immensely. I am here till midnight, and then tomorrow I wrap up filling in on Nightside for Dan Ray. And I'm about to tell you a little behind-the-scenes story. One of these two men and I and two other Morgan guests, Mel Simons and Stu Fink, we went out for Chinese food last Wednesday. Had a great time. If you're familiar in Brookline with the old Hosai Gai, which is now called Mandarin Cuisine, food was great and the company was superb. So once again, Bill, I thank you for making that suggestion one night when I was on the radio. Bill?
Morgan, yes. Morgan,
Yeah.
We had a blast. Thank you so much for setting that up.
Well, it took a few phone calls, but we got it done.
We sure did. It just went by, the couple hours we spent went by like 10 minutes. It was so much fun.
It did. So for people listening now, give a thumbnail sketch on the who, what, when, where, why, and how of the Winiker career, how your father basically was a mentor to the Winiker brothers. Your mother joined in, and I'm not going to tell the story. You tell it.
Well, thank you, Morgan. This is Bo. And first and foremost, thank you so much for including us this week in this special evening. And we are just thrilled and delighted and excited that you invited us to join you. We want to wish all of our family and friends the most wonderful and happy and healthy new year. And we're just so excited for these next 2 hours to unfold. We really owe it all to our late father, Ed Winiker. He was a gentleman farmer in his lifetime, and as a youngster, he would walk 7 miles from Millis to Medfield to take piano lessons. And he became an outstanding pianist and band leader. My late father had his first band in 1939. And moving forward to 1962, that's when Bill and myself and my mother, we joined my father's band. He always had a dream that he would have a family band, and it's interesting because he told his musicians that had been playing in his band for many years that someday he would be replacing them with family members, and no one in his regular band could have believed that at 10 years of age I became the trumpet player in his band, and at 13 my brother was his drummer, and my mother at 32 years of age would learn the string bass. Interestingly enough, my mother's mother was a pianist for the silent movies, so she had music in her blood, and so we inherited music from her side of the family and my father's, who, as I told you, worked very hard to become a very fine pianist and band leader. So in this first segment of the program, we're going to talk a lot about my father, and in later segments, we'll include my mother too, because we got many gifts from both of our parents, and we're so grateful for them. So Bill, as a youngster, was always banging on pots and pans, and my dad knew that Bill was going to be the drummer in his band. He just had that sixth sense, because Bill had an innate sense of rhythm early on, and Bill would become the drummer. Now, I had a lot of hot air and ended up picking the trumpet and playing it. And so that's sort of how it all began. We had music in our house all the time. Interestingly enough, in our farmhouse in Millis, Massachusetts, there was music going all the time. In every single room in our house, there was a speaker. No matter, even in the bathroom, you couldn't get away from music in our house if you tried. there was a lot of recorded music. It could be Ella Fitzgerald, it could be Louis Armstrong, it could be the Four Freshmen, it could be Nat King Cole, but there was music going all the time. It just seeped into our bones and our body, thanks to my dad's love of music. So we heard music all the time. We also grew up hearing my dad rehearse with his earlier musicians. And we started playing. I think I was 8.5 when I started playing trumpet, and Bill started playing, around that same time, but a few years, just he was a couple of years older than me at that, of course. So he started playing and taking lessons, and so interestingly enough, in those formative years, after dinner, my mother would be doing the dinner dishes. Bill and I would be in our rooms doing our homework, and my dad would play a chord on the piano. I can almost hear it right now. He'd plunk that chord on the piano, and we'd all come running. And we'd go into the music room where his baby grand piano was there, and my mother had her string bass set up, and Bill had a drum set, and I had my horn, and we would perform for 2 hours every night. And my dad would teach us an incredible amount of music, some new music, some ethnic music, jazz tunes, and within a year's time, we really developed. And interestingly enough, our first performance as a family band was in Millis, Massachusetts, at the Fin, Fur, and Feather Club. And this was a club that my dad and his bands had played at many times during the years. But after a year of working with my father and learning many, many songs, we were ready to go out and perform. So we get to the Fin, Fur, and Feather Club, and the manager of the club runs up to my dad and said, "Mr. Winiker, where are your regular band members?" And my father said to the manager, "Well, this is my new band." And the manager said to my father, "I don't think our members are going to be very happy with this." And so my dad said, "Well, if there's any problem at all, there's no cost for the music for it tonight."
That's a fair deal.
So we started playing, and as the evening progressed, people were dancing and having fun, and at the end of the night, they all crowded around us, and they loved the idea of the family, and they had a great time, and we would end up performing at that club many, many times through the years. And, I remember that first performance vividly, and what a thrill it was to be out entertaining and working together as a family band. And I'm going to turn this over to Bill right now because...
Well, Bo, I'm going to stop you now so I can be on time for my break. And when we come back, if I'm not mistaken, either you or your brother gave Rob a couple of cuts to play to demonstrate your musicality.
Well, interestingly enough, when my dad passed away in 1997, I wrote a song to remember him and memorialize him, and it's called "Hymn to My Father." And I think this would be a perfect time to play a little of that.
Tell you what, let's take the break. When we come back, Rob, come back with "Hymn to My Father." And anyone who wants to call, the lines are full. Now, somebody did this last night during one of our segments. Only use these numbers, 617-254-1030, 888-929-1030. Don't try to get creative and use any other number to get through. And on that note, time and temperature, 10:16, 43 degrees.
Nightside with Dan Ray on WBZ, Boston's News Radio.
This is a piece Bo Winiker wrote for his father, who taught both Bo and his brother music, instrumentation, and their mother as well. And Bo, what did you call that piece?
That's the hymn for my father. Thank you so much for playing a little of that. I really appreciate it.
No problem. And I've got both Bill and Bo here. And let's take phone calls because the lines are jammed.
Well,
I've got five people waiting to speak to you on 4 lines.
Wonderful.
Work that out with your mathematics. Jean in Brookline, I figured you'd be first. Hello, Jean.
Hi, Morgan. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you.
Now, am I going to speak to Bo or to Bill?
Well, you can speak to us both.
Okay.
We miss you very much.
Yeah, are you guys playing any place?
We're not at the moment, but we're hoping to relocate somewhere in the first quarter of the new year. I want to say, Jeannie, that we've been playing every day, but all the work that we're doing are private events. We're playing at people's parties, country clubs, Christmas parties, Hanukkah parties. We've been busy, but the restaurant that we were working in for when it was Brothers was great, but they sold out. And then the new people actually sold the restaurant, so we are not playing publicly right now. We're working, but not publicly. Well, we hope to change that in the next few months, and as soon as we do, we will let you know.
Yeah, I think Marie has my phone number. If not, I have her phone number.
Yeah, we have your number, and we will definitely let you know.
Okay. Thanks so much. And, Bo, I love that song. That's my favorite song on the CD is the one that you wrote for your dad.
Oh, that's so sweet of you to say. Thank you so much.
All right. I'm going to get off the phone. There's a lot of people waiting.
Happy
Great to hear
New
from you.
Year, Gene.
Okay, yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. 617-254-1030. Gene's line is available to you. Let's go to Peter in Wakefield. Good evening, Peter. Happy New Year.
Hey, boy. Hi, Morgan.
Hi there.
Happy New Year to you all.
Thank you.
To you as well.
Thanks. I actually hold the honorary degree of cousin. I'm a huge fan of Bill and Bo, and my dance partner Linda and I love to listen to them and dance to their music.
Well, keep it up.
It's so great to hear your voice, and we miss seeing both of you.
Yes. We can't wait to see you again.
Yeah, same here. Morgan, Peter was Neil's roommate, our piano player, Neil Green. They were in college together at Boston University School of Fine and Applied Arts, and Peter's been a loyal fan, always comes to hear us.
And no one appreciates the music more than Peter, for sure. Thank you so much for calling.
Hey, guys. So I was going to ask, you probably will at some point, but maybe you could tell the audience about how you came to play for 3 U.S. presidents at the White House.
Well, that's pretty interesting. And I got the good fortune of playing for President Ford in 1974, I believe it was. And I was at the New England Conservatory of Music, and I was a member of the New England Conservatory Ragtime Ensemble. And this was an ensemble directed by the president of the school, Gunther Schuller. And it was right around the time of the motion picture The Sting, and ragtime music was used in that movie. And ragtime, all of a sudden, the music that was popular at the turn of this century in the early 1900s, all of a sudden it was a rage.
Scott Joplin.
Yes, of course. And so this ragtime ensemble, we traveled all across the United States. We played at just about every music festival, and we traveled across Europe, and we spent a month in the Soviet Union on a State Department tour. This was a hot group, the New England Ragtime Ensemble. And so we were invited to play at the White House in 74 for President Ford for a State House dinner for President Leone of Italy. So that was the first one. The second one is that this same ensemble, the Ragtime Ensemble, performed at President Carter's inauguration in Washington. It was not at the White House, but we did perform again in Washington for President Carter, I said it. And then the third time, myself was conducting, and my brother Bill was playing drums, and my father was playing piano, and my mother wasn't playing on this particular assignment. But we were invited to play at President Clinton's Northeast inaugural ball. And we took 21 musicians from Boston, and we performed for his inauguration, and it was really a thrilling event. It turns out it was a reunion for President Clinton's wife, 15th reunion from Wellesley College. When Bill was listening to our band, he so intently that he came up and started talking to us, and within the next set, he had taken our tenor saxophone player's tenor, and he played 3 or 4 numbers with us, and that's when we first met Bill Clinton.
He was not shy about playing a saxophone.
No, he wasn't. And then he came to Boston for a big political rally. This was when he was campaigning for president, and we were playing at that particular rally. So we met up with him again, and it was just amazing how we sent a letter off to him, and he turned it over to the inaugural entertainment committee, and they called us, and we played at his inauguration. And the most amazing part about it is that Aretha Franklin sang with our band the night of the gala, and she put on an hour set, and that was one of the most incredible experiences of our life for our band to back her up in Washington, D.C. at Clinton's inaugural, and they danced right on stage with us, and it's one of those thrilling moments that we will never forget. So thank you so much for asking us to relive those magical moments.
A former BZ personality on the Bob Raleigh used to call that circumstance rubbing elbows with the swells, getting a chance to meet and interact with celebrities. And Bo, in a little while, not right away, but I'm going to ask you to retell your Muhammad Ali stories.
Well, I will be happy to do that. That's another really incredible story. And
right.
Maybe we should take a couple of more calls, and then I'll tell
we will. Peter, anything else you want to say, or was that it?
No, thank you, guys. And, you make us all feel like part of the family.
Peter, thank you for the call. And Happy New Year.
Good night, guys. Thank you.
Good night.
Thank
Happy
you,
New Year. Let's now go to Debbie in Athol. Debbie, welcome to Nightside.
Hi, it's my first time calling in on a show. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, Debbie.
Okay, great. I just called in. I wanted to wish everyone a happy holidays. And I wanted to say thank you to the Winiker brothers and their band and their whole family for all the joy they bring to everyone with their musical talent.
Well, thank you for the nice comments.
That's what keeps us going. When we can make people happy, we're fulfilled. And every time we go home after playing, we're elated. The music just makes us feel just as good as the people we played for.
You know what?
Yeah.
It's interesting, but we measure our success each year by how many people we make happy. And we happen to think that this has been one of our most joyous years of all the 60 years that we've been performing. I think since the pandemic, it's been such a difficult time for everyone. And this year we've been able to get out again and go around and perform and touch people's lives. So this has been an incredibly happy year for us to be back doing what we love so much.
Anything else, Debbie?
Yes, more success and more happiness in 2023 for all of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the phone call. Happy New Year, Debbie. Good night now. Debbie's line is open. I'm about to take my news break. And when we come back, we'll speak with Karen and Phil and Jack and maybe you.
When Shopify says you can sell anywhere, oh, they mean it. Woo, hold up. Just got a new sale, order fulfilled and shipped. Inventory levels good. Whoa, Shopify doesn't mind if you're at sea level or on top of the world. You can run and grow your business anywhere. Climbing mountains is never easy, but at least Shopify gives me all the tools I need for my business to hit new peaks.
Whether you're selling carabiners or crop tops, start selling with Shopify today and join the platform simplifying commerce for millions of businesses worldwide. We've built the platform so you can keep climbing and grow your business to new heights.
With Shopify, you really can sell to anyone, from anywhere.
This is Possibility, powered by Shopify. Start selling online today. Sign up for a free trial at shopify.com/free22. 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 Internet connection required. Not available on mountaintops or seafloors.
617-254-1030, 8889-291030. Time and temperature here on Nightside, 10:30, 43 degrees.
Nightside with Dan Ray on WBZ, Boston's News Radio.
All lines. Let's take a person who's happy to speak with Bill and Bo Winiker. From Weston, here's Karen. Good evening, Karen.
Good evening, Morgan. Hi. Hello, Bill. Hi, Bo.
Good evening, and thank you so much for calling in.
It's my pleasure. I wanted to call in to tell Morgan that you have two individuals there that are not only talented, but they are the most genuine human beings you can find.
I know that.
They are wonderful, wonderful people. And,
I truly know that.
Yes, and I was fortunate to meet them several years back when my friend Ruth, who's a dear friend of theirs, introduced me to them and brought me to the Brothers Restaurant in Brookline. And after that, I became what they call the groupie, because I would show up there all the time. And I think they gave me a keychain. But I am so... My life has been enlightened by the friendship I have with them. And I've learned so much over the last several years because I'm a jazz lover, and they have enriched me so incredibly with their knowledge of jazz. And, it's really been a highlight in my life. So I wanted to thank them personally online for their friendship, and I hope it continues for many years to come.
Well, there's no worry about that not happening, but Morgan, I want to tell you that Karen's life was changed dramatically a number of years ago in such a special way when she went to the Newport Jazz Festival. And she is just an incredible jazz lover. Art Blakey, Miles Davis, you name it. She knows them all and loves them all. And that is quite an incredible quality in any human being, to love jazz the way that she does.
Yeah, this is Bill, Karen. And, you have enriched our lives because as musicians, we search for people that love the music the way we do. And to find and discover you, it's just been a great treasure for us. So,
thank you. It's been really thrilling for me because you guys have also shown me the jazz singers, and I'm listening to so many new people, which aren't new, but, some of them are like Ella and Sarah and Blossom Dairy, and I could go on and on. You've really inspired me so much, and I don't tell this to everyone, but I am now taking singing lessons.
Oh, okay.
Aside from that, she also sings in a chorus as well. So she's a budding musician as well.
Well, good luck with your new vocation.
That's so flattering. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much for calling.
Happy New Year, Karen.
We really appreciate your call.
Okay, there goes Karen. Here comes Bob in Arlington. Bob, good evening. Happy New Year. Welcome to Nightside. Oh, I did it wrong. Forgive me. All right, let's try. There's Bob in Arlington. Okay.
Speakerphone doesn't work so well. I'm sitting here with Noriko, who just played a couple of Nutcrackers downtown, and calling in to say hi to Bill and Bo, who played our wedding a few months ago. Remember that, guys?
Oh, do I ever remember it? It was so much fun.
You know, Bob, that was probably the most enjoyable gig of my career. It was just the greatest because Morgan,
Bill Clinton, I don't think so.
These two that got married, Bob and Noriko, they're two of the greatest musicians in town, in Boston. They're great
musicians. But they could be the two of the best musicians in any town, not in the whole world.
Okay.
But the guests were 90% brilliant musicians, and so we were playing for all these great musicians.
It's hard to get musicians to be free and come to an event like that. We're always working and trying to work, but we picked a good Saturday. It was the second Saturday of September. So, people are done with their family vacations, but the gigs haven't quite yet kicked in yet. So we did have a great crew, but you guys just really set the tone so wonderfully, and it was fantastic for all.
Well, we appreciate you so much calling in tonight and sharing your ideas and thoughts with us. It's really great to hear from you. And let me say something about Bob. He is, in addition to being a world-class musician, he's pretty good with the golf clubs, too. He's a hell of a golfer.
Well, you'll enjoy knowing that I played 18 holes today, Bo.
And how'd you do?
The Commonwealth is still open.
And
my gosh.
And what did you shoot?
76.
Not bad.
That's like 76 trombones.
There you go. There you go.
That's a good round.
They stay open throughout the winter, so maybe put on your hat and gloves and come join me sometime.
Oh, you can be assured of it. That sounds great. Well done.
All right, Bob. Anything else while you're here?
No, these guys are great. Not only are they friends, but Bo was my first employer when I got to town. In 1990, I sent him a letter. He responded. He was the only one who did respond. He said, come on down to the Sheridan Commander, sit in with the band. I did that. I played Pennies from Heaven, and you sent me soon thereafter on a couple of jobs with your dad, with Ed, and I remember playing Top of the Hub with Ed, and then drummers don't get to know each other so well because every band only needs one drummer. So getting to know Bill has been a little tougher. But Bill, because of your sore back, every now and again you'd call me into action to come drum, and you'd be on the job, and it's been wonderful just getting the both of you over the years.
Thank you so much. Really great to hear from you. And give me a call. I'll come out and join you at Commonwealth for sure.
Thank you for the call, Bob.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right. I'm going to take a break. When we come back, more of Bill and Bo Winiker. I'll also promote what I'm doing tomorrow night on Nightside and my show on Saturday night. There's one open line. If you want it, grab it, 617-254-1030 or 888-929-1030. Time and temperature here on Nightside. 1042, 41 degrees.
It's Nightside with Dan Ray on WBZ, Boston's News Radio.
Bill and Bo Winiker are here, and we've had full lines ever since we began the 10 o'clock hour. And they're going to be here all the way till midnight. So if you don't get through right away, there will be time for you to grab an open line and speak with Bill and Bo Winiker. Let's go to Brookline and speak to Jack. Jack, welcome aboard Nightside.
Thank you. Listen, I wanted to talk about Bo and Bill, but since I heard that last caller who played golf today and shot a 76, I'm speechless. I mean,
well, he's a pretty good golfer.
Is it, December 27th, 28th, and he's playing golf today. Amazing.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I didn't tell Bob this, but I was out today hitting golf balls on the driving range I was practicing because I have a game tomorrow at 11 a.m.
Serious.
So I am playing. I put on my thermal underwear, and away I go.
Where are you playing tomorrow?
Well, I'm playing at the Woodland Golf Club in Newton, Massachusetts.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I love that course.
It's near me.
Yeah.
So the reason I called originally was to talk about what a small world we all live in. So
for sure.
When I was in my 30s, which is a couple hundred years ago, all of my friends were getting married, and I never went to a single wedding that the Winiker family wasn't playing at. They were at every single wedding, and it seemed like they were like part of our family. They were in our circle because you couldn't go to a wedding where they were, and I got to know Bo a little bit, and we talked golf, and we talked golf shoes. Bo, I used to help with Dexter golf shoes, and then talking about what a small world it is, and then I fall in love with a woman named Stephanie.
Oh yes, of course. Yeah.
And it turns out that Stephanie and Bo both went to the New England Conservatory. They both were in the
ragtime ensemble. Yeah,
ragtime ensemble, and then I got to know you that way as well. And I went to a number of concerts and saw you in the backstage there. And then in the more recent times, again with the theme, it's a small world. I moved to Brookline, and I bump into you all the time. I used to see you at Brothers, and I still see you occasionally at Trader Joe's. So
yes,
it's an interesting world.
Well, you are such a lovely gentleman, and our paths crossed many years ago, and they continue to cross. And how wonderful is that?
It's great. I'm incredibly envious that you're playing golf tomorrow.
Oh, well, you want to join us?
It's supposed to be nice weather. High 50s.
Is it going to be like today?
Even better.
It's supposed to be.
Holy cow. Well, and anyhow, I also, by the way, the reason I heard you tonight, I wasn't listening to the radio today, but the reason I heard you tonight is Stephanie, who's in New York, sent me a text and told me you were on the radio.
Oh, my goodness. Wow, that's so great. Well,
she's listening now in New York.
Oh, that's so great. So in June, we were out in Wisconsin at Stephanie's Music Festival out there, and boy, what a thrill it was! What a thrill it was to be back with all of the ragtimers. We had the best time together. We played several concerts out there, and boy, the music, that ragtime music written by Scott Joplin and his contemporaries, it's some of the finest music ever written. It's sort of.
I love that. I just love that music.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for telling this story tonight. It's a beautiful story, and I love hearing it.
Jack, thank you for the
Good
call.
To talk to you.
Happy
New Year.
Happy New Year.
Hey,
Bye-bye.
Jack, let's play golf next spring if we don't do it sooner.
Okay. Jack is gone, but I think he heard the end of that comment. One open line, and I'm wondering if you two know this lady, Abigail. Abigail.
Oh, good. I think we do.
The last name.
Did I make it on air?
You made it on the air.
I'm so excited.
And Abigail, you have a last name that instantly points to Bill and Bo.
It does. I am a Winiker.
And?
So is my father, Uncle Bill.
Yeah.
Obviously my uncle.
Well, thank you for calling.
I'm so lucky to have gotten through. Other times that you've been on this show, I've tried and failed because you are both so popular.
Well, you made it. That's the important thing. Keep trying with your index finger.
Yes, I did. I've had, 20 attempts tonight, and I'm glad I got through. Thank you for taking my call.
Okay.
Well, thanks for making the effort. What would you like to share with us tonight, Abigail?
Well, since we are reliving some of our favorite collective Winiker memories, I wanted to bring up one of mine, which is the 7 times that I was able to stand at the front of Symphony Hall and look up and see my dad conducting the Boston Pops Orchestra, which really one time would have been a memory of a lifetime. And he got to do it 7, and I was there for all of them. So that is something that I really hold dear and think about often, and wanted to bring up tonight and share with the rest of the Winiker followers and fans.
Tell us about those shows, 1 or 2 or 3 of them.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'll have to pass it back to my dad, because sometimes I was so worried about his health and well-being leading up to them, because it was so stressful to prep. So he'll have to tell you all about it. But he did a rare combination of both soloing and conducting the entire Pops band, which I imagine there have been others, but I've certainly never seen it. And really just brought that orchestra to life. And no one was in their seats in symphony. People were just up and dancing the night away up until the New Year. It was 5 New Year's Eves and then 2 other Pops events. So, really amazing to see him in such a coveted position for the city of Boston. And I'm a proud daughter.
Well, I'm a proud father of my daughter and son, for certain. I'll say a little about it. Morgan, what I want to tell you is that I went to the New England Conservatory of Music, which is diagonally across from Symphony Hall.
I know where it is.
Yeah. My dream in my lifetime, was to one day stand in front of the Boston Pops Orchestra with the most gorgeous, beautiful string section in the entire world. And I just wanted to play one solo in front of that orchestra. And so I went to Symphony Hall for many years and talked to the administrative director. And I told him what I wanted to do. And the years kept going by, and he'd always say to me, you know what, don't give up.
Next year.
Keep coming back.
Next year.
Yeah, so I kept going, and finally it was our 50th anniversary in the music business, and now it's 60. But I kept going back, and then one day, Dennis, the administrative director of the Pops, called and said, "Bo, how would you like to conduct the orchestra?" And I said, "Well, not really." I said, "I still want to stand in front of that orchestra and just play a solo with the beautiful string section." And so he said, "Look, think about this very carefully. You may never have this opportunity again." So I decided to do it, and I sequestered myself in my room for several months with all the arrangements that I would be playing that first performance. And this is what Abigail is talking about. She couldn't reach me. I wasn't talking on the phone. I stopped playing golf. I was just probably a nervous wreck. I was so, as I said to the folks at Symphony Hall, you're looking for a conductor. I said, I was a conductor, but a conductor on the B&O Railroad. I said, that's how I got my conducting skills. So anyway, I did it. And interestingly enough, after that first performance, there was just something magical about it. And I just got along so great with the musicians. I have such an inordinate amount of respect for them. And they liked me, and I liked them. And so like 2 weeks later, they said, this was a fall event that I conducted. And they said, how would you like to conduct New Year's Eve? And I said, of course, I will do it. And I did. And that's what led to 5 New Year's Eves in a row. And honest to God, you know what it reminded me of? Well, let me say this first of all. The first time I came out on that stage, I looked up to the heavens and I said, Dad,
yeah,
thank you for preparing me for this night, for allowing me to be ready to do this.
You knew he was watching you. You knew that.
Oh, good. I felt his presence for sure. And interestingly enough, when I play golf, when a butterfly comes near me in the summertime, I think that's my dad checking in with me. And when I go to Maine in the summertime and I look up at the cloud formation, I can sometimes see my father right there looking down on our family. So I feel very close to my father. But I wanted to say this thing, that what happened to me was I felt like I got to the top of the mountain. I felt like I could relive that Martin Luther King speech where you've
been to the mountaintop.
Yes, I got to play with the finest musicians in the world at Symphony Hall, and I had so much respect for them, and they in turn gave it back to me. And those 7 experiences will never, they're right in my heart, and I'm so grateful that I had the opportunity to do that. And Abigail, what I want to do is I want to thank you for allowing me to relive those magical moments right here on WBZ Radio with Morgan and much of the country. So thank you so much for your thank you so much for working so hard to get on the line tonight.
Abigail, thank you.
And can I say one more thing about? Yeah, Abigail, let me say one more thing about you quickly. I'm so proud of you. She's getting her doctorate degree in public health. Abigail and my son Kim, they have forgotten more than their father ever learned. But I can assure you that is true. But I'm so proud of both of them. And thank you for being part of the show tonight, Abigail.
All right, Abigail, I got to wave goodbye. News is next.
Okay, thank you all. Good night.
Bye-bye. One open line.
Bye.
There are 3 people ahead of you. 617-254-1030, 888-929-1030 if you want to speak to the Winikers. Bill and Bo. Time and temperature, 10:58, 41 degrees.
It's Nightside with Dan Ray on WBZ, Boston's News Radio.
Bill and Bo Winiker are here for one more hour as well. Morgan White Jr. will be here for one more hour. And then it's down to the last Nightside of the week tomorrow. And my guest tomorrow will be a reporter who worked in Rochester, New York, Hartford, Connecticut, and used to be at Channel 25 here in Boston, covering storms, fires, etc. He'll be here, Evan White, at 8. 9 will be Gary King, second generation special effects man, has worked on many major motion pictures, and we'll talk about the ones he worked on that filmed in and around the greater Boston area. And Gary Summers will be here with his psychic appraisals of whatever you have that you feel could be of value. So that's that. In my show on Saturday, I'll be doing trivia for New Year's Eve. Now that I've told you all that, good grief, Phil in Buffalo's been holding for close to a half hour. Phil, I am so sorry, but a lot of phone traffic tonight, Phil.
Hello there, Morgan. Thanks for taking our call.
Thanks so much. We're so happy to have waited because we love Bill and Bo.
Hi, guys. How you doing?
We're doing great, and we're right back at you. We love you both, too.
We want to let you know, your listeners, that my wife, Cindy, and I have moved to Boston a few years back from Buffalo for my wife's work, and through good friends, Bill and Lee Gruner in Buffalo, who knew of Bo and Bill, they said, hey, you got to meet these guys. They told me that because I'm a musician from Buffalo. So you were mentioning the New Year's Eve concerts with Bo. That was kind of our welcome to Boston. Bill had contacted me and said, hey, if you're not playing New Year's in Buffalo, you should come to Boston. We had never met. And play my gig, and then we'll go down to the Symphony Hall and watch Bo conduct the Philharmonic. It was a magical evening, and actually one of the things that was really unusual about it was one of the guest stars that night was a singer who was from Buffalo, John Stevens, who had been on the American Idol show. So we got to see our buddy from John up there too. But we just wanted to thank Bo and Bill for not only enriching our musical lives while we were living in Boston, but for becoming family, not like family. They are family.
We moved to Boston without knowing anybody, and they just took us in and made us feel so welcome, and we're family now. So we love you.
Well, we are family now and forever. And I want to tell you that Phil is really one of the finest trombone players that I have ever played with, and I've played with a few good ones over the years. And Cindy, there's really nobody quite like Cindy, who just feels every single note that you play. She is just a wonderful person and brilliant, and working for the Santander Bank company, and so we love you both, and we have had so many magical moments together, and we look forward to more. Phil's also a golfer, and he's very good with the hammer and saw too. He can make anything, he can fix anything. They're great friends and family to us, and it's so great of you guys to make the time to call tonight. It touches us deeply, and I know my mother's listening to this show right now, and she is enjoying every word that you're saying. So thank you so much.
Yeah, we love you.
You're more than welcome.
Yeah,
and we'll be looking forward to hearing about when you play in public again, because we will be coming to Boston to hear you.
My wife is Cindy is
happen in the first quarter of the year for sure.
All right,
well, we will.
Happy New Year, guys. Bye-bye.
Happy New Year. Thank you so much for
you.
calling.
Now,
You're welcome.
Bye-bye. I want you guys to give your website, because there's a nice photo of the three of us. I'm the one in the middle. If you're having trouble knowing which is which, I'm the one in the middle. But once you guys get somebody who will be happy to pay you to entertain, tell everybody where they can go.
Sure. They can go to winikermusic.com.
How do you spell Winiker?
Winiker's like Spinnaker. Winiker. Winikermusic.com. That'll get you to us, and you can come right to us. I think the phone number's there, and an email address where you can email us. And if you're looking for some good music, we can provide it for certain.
Okay. All right. I guess I'm now going to go to Brookline and speak to Ruth. So, Ruth, good evening.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, Ruth.
Great. So I just want to say to Bill and Bo, I'm a little miffed because I was going to go to bed early tonight until I saw that you were going to be on, and it was like, oh, okay. I guess I'm not going to bed early tonight. I'm one of the Ruth members of the. There are several Ruths who are fans. I'm not the number one Ruth, but I'm maybe number two or three. I don't know.
You're 1A.
Oh, that is a compliment.
You are definitely 1A.
Wait till Ruth hears. I don't know if she's going to be happy. In any event, it's really fun to hear all these other people calling in. Those of us who feel like we have a special relationship with Bill and Bo, now I see it's not so special because all these other people have special relationships too, but that is such a tribute to the two of you. You're so incredible.
They have a way of making everybody feel special.
Yes, they do. They do. And I just want to mention that, as they know, I have my dear mother, who's 101 years old, soon to be 102, God willing. She is a resident of the Spring House in Jamaica Plain, where Bill and Bo and Cousin Neil perform quite a bit, and it's just such a treat for all of the people who live there, but also for me to be able to hear them. But I actually have two questions, and I'll try to make it short. One is, I feel like the Winikers are kind of an endangered species. It's like, where's all the other live music? It's really, that's one of the reasons, besides your incredible talent, but it's just so rare to, have the opportunity to hear live music and singing. And so that's one question I have is, what do you think the future is going to hold, given that the present isn't looking so great? And my second question is, as Bill and Bo know, I also have a sister I'm very close to and who lives in New York, and that's another thing that draws us to the Winikers, because my sister and I are the exact same age as the two of them, and we're also very close. But I don't know if I could perform with my sister all the time. And I just wonder, I know these two guys love each other so much, and it's so genuine, and I see it and I hear it, but there have to be times when, there are challenges or whatever in working with family members. So if you could address those two questions, I would love to hear what you have to say.
All right, Ruth, I have to take... All right, wait, guys, hold on. I have to take a break, so let me take my break, and I will make sure they address both of those questions when we come back, okay?
No problem. Thank you.
Before you go, Ruth, you are special to us. And, but we have a lot of special friends. But we light up like a Hanukkah menorah when we see you. And it's genuine. And I have worked with my brother.
And my mother, yes.
Yeah, but 60 years I've been working with my brother, and I'm going to tell you more about it on the other side.
All right, Ruth, Happy New Year.
Thanks.
Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Ruth's line is available. You want it, grab it. Time and temperature, 11:16:41 degrees.
You're on Nightside with Dan Ray on WBZ, Boston's News Radio.
This is called Bo's Nova, kind of a play on words, bossa nova, and I'm assuming written as well by Bo Winiker. Am I right, Bo?
Well, not exactly. I've written a number of songs. This one isn't one of them, but Ron Zach, who's a brilliant pianist and vocalist, who works with us quite a bit on piano, he wrote this song for me. So this is composed by Ron for me. It's Bo's Nova. It's a beautiful tune, and it's one of my favorite tunes on the CD. And when I heard it playing just a moment ago, it brought me to life. I just was so excited to hear that. Thank you so much for playing it.
Thank Rob.
Yeah, Rob, thank you. Great job, Rob. So let's go back to Ruth 1A. Ruth, she is wonderful, and we love her. And I have worked side by side with my brother for 60 years. It's a long time, but it's gone by like two snaps of the finger. My brother is my best friend and biggest supporter. And the reason why I have all the lines on my face is because Bill takes pictures of me all the time. He's my press agent, and he's taking my picture all the time, and I'm smiling in every picture because I love to smile. But from all those pictures and smiles, I've got all these wrinkles on my face, and you know what? It goes along with someone who's 70 years of age, so it's perfect. But I want you to know, Bill and I don't get along all of the time. We just get along most of the time. I've worked in a family business since I was 10 years of age, and I can tell you there is nothing like it. We've worked hard. We have rolled up our sleeves. We've done the work we've needed to do. We put every ounce of our being into our business, and we got a lot out of it. But I want you to know one thing. I've been a Brookline Rotarian for 44 years, and I have given a lot back to the community of Brookline. My time, my energy, my music, my love for the members of the Brookline Rotary Club. And so, like Karen, who called a few calls ago, she is one of these great human beings who gives back. And I have tried to give back as much as I've gotten. So I hope I answered your question. Bill and I don't get along all the time, but he is my best friend and biggest supporter. So I'm so lucky to have him. And I want to tell you that we complement each other well, because when we go out and we do our programs, and we do hundreds of them a year all over New England, we do programs for senior citizens and in different programs and organizations. And Bill will stand up there and he'll speak extemporaneously about every song we're playing. It's beautiful. If I had to do that, I think a lot of the audiences would have left hours before. But Bill is a great educator, and what we try to do is we try to entertain and educate all in the same breath, and Bill does it beautifully. And so, we complement each other, and although we don't get along all the time, we get along most of the time, and we have never had an issue about money yet. So I think that's a really good sign. I think we were trained by the master, my father and my mother, and I haven't said anything about my mother yet, but let me quickly say it. My mother told me and my brother Bill hundreds of times over the years, she said, boys, it doesn't cost any extra to be nice. She keeps telling us that even now. And she also told us that the more good deeds we do in this world will translate into a better quality of life. So we just keep doing good deeds. I also want to tell you that we have mentored over 200 young musicians that have come through this city over the years, going to Berkeley or New England Conservatory. And we had classes at our apartment on Longwood Avenue where we trained them and we put them to work. And these 200 musicians, they get in touch with us all the time. They're out in California. They're all over the country. Many of them are in New York doing wonderful things. And they say to us, Winiker Brothers, we got more out of your classes than some of the classes we had at our university. So it touches our hearts. And we never charged a penny for any of these services. It was our way of giving back.
Right.
So that's what I'd like to say. And I want Bill to complete the answer to Ruth's question.
Okay, so Ruth wanted to know about live music. And here's the problem, Morgan. I sum it up to technology. There are lots of bands out there, tons of them, but there are not enough places that employ bands anymore. For instance, when my mother and father would tell us about the stories of them going out dancing, you'd hear at Totem Pole Ballroom, where the Marriott is in Newton, and hundreds of ballrooms like that. You'd always hear a live band. You could go to small restaurants, large ballrooms. It was all live music in the 40s, 50s, 30s, the 20s. But when technology came along, the DJs kind of took over on the nightclubs. So if the people Bo's age and my age and much younger too, when they go out, they go to a nightclub and the DJs are spinning the top 40 and there are not bands there. So, and I'll tell you another thing, the Broadway shows in Boston, we get those same shows at the Opera House and the Colonial. And so those orchestras, when we used to see those shows when we were younger, they were, 25-piece orchestras with strings and brass and woodwinds, the works. But now the union doesn't like this at all. We're members of the Musicians Union. They replace most of the musicians with synthesizers, just somebody at a computer playing a lot of the parts, and they employ 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 musicians instead of 25. So I've been teaching for years, and I tell my students that you should, if you want to be a musician, that's great. You can major in music, but or minor in music. I always tell them minor in music, and you can always play weekends, but major in something else so that you can have a solid career, because technology has really replaced a lot of live music, and that's my answer.
All right, let me get at least one more on before I have to take a break. We have 4 lines, and for people trying the contest lines, we're not answering it. So stop calling on the contest lines. Karen in Wisconsin, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, Karen, it's you.
Bo and Morgan.
Yeah?
Morgan David. Is that a wine?
Yes, it is.
Her name is Morgan.
Correct.
Bill and Bo, how'd you drag me out of the drain pipe?
Great to hear your voice. Thanks so much for calling, and it was great to see you this summer.
Oh, it was wonderful. I got some little message this afternoon, and I've been playing him for my father, and playing Scott Joplin on my piano in the dark down there. Wait,
yeah, we
guys.
need to let Morgan know what happened. Morgan Bo went to Wisconsin to play a concert.
Oh, she called.
So
she told us.
Yeah. Oh, okay. And that's how she got our CD. Bo gave her a CD as a gift for coming to the concert.
That's Scott Joplin concert that they came out here for. Stoughton, Stoughton, Wisconsin, and it was a wonderful time. And I just want to say, Annette, you've got the most beautiful kids. And hi to Claude, the boy, and his mom, who's probably listening in Chicago, probably.
Well, it's so great to hear your voice. Thank you so much for calling in. Happy and healthy New Year, and I hope I'm back out there again someday so that I can play for you again.
Well, somehow you dug me out of the drain pipe here. I don't know how you found me, but I got a message, and I prepared. So I love you both so much. Your happiness
right back at you.
infectious.
Thank you so much.
All right, Karen. I'm glad you get through.
Thank you. It was
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, that line's open. If you want it, take it. 617-254-1030, 888-929-1030. This is Nightside. I'm Morgan filling in for Dan Ray, and I'm going to throw it to Rob so we can get our bottom of the hour break out of the way. Time and temperature here on Nightside, heard only on WBZ, 1129, 41 degrees.
It's Nightside with Dan Ray on WBZ, Boston's News Radio.
We have approximately 25 minutes of show to go with Bill and Bo. Hey, that rhymed. I'm Morgan filling in for Dan Ray here on Nightside. Bill and Bo Winiker are my guests, and I'm just going to dive right back to the phones. And Alex, you've been holding for a long time in Walpole. Good evening. Alex. You know, I hate to hang up on people after they've been holding for close to 30 minutes. Alex, are you there? All right, we tried. Call back in if you can get a line. Don in Medfield, good evening.
Good evening. Bill and Bo, Don Rankin calling.
Hey, Don. Great to hear from you.
Well, it's great to wish you happy holidays. And I just wanted to tell you guys both how much I've enjoyed, listening to you over many years and playing with you occasionally.
Oh,
and,
sure.
I think the first time, Bill, was on your Masters recital at NEC just a few years ago.
Well, yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was a while ago, but I remember it well. It was a great time, and thank you for your participation.
I want you to tell the crowd who Don is. Bo.
Well, Don is a brilliant musician himself, and he's one of the finest real estate people in the area, for sure. And we've known each other since the 70s. Went to New England Conservatory together, and Don comes out to the old Sherburne Inn, and hears us play sometimes. And really nice of you to take the time to call us tonight.
Oh, I love being able to hear you guys play. Were you there last night?
Yes, Eli and the Hot Six. I think there were 8 of us last night. Yeah, we had a great night. We play out at the Heritage of Sherburne the last Wednesday of every month. Eli Newberger is a longtime friend of mine, and Eli and I are co-leaders of the Hot Six. And yes, it's going beautifully out there. I know you've been out already to see us. But we'll be back again.
Of times, sadly, I couldn't make it last night because I was stuck playing the Nutcracker.
You weren't stuck. You were in your element.
No, it's a pleasure, and I was there again tonight and this afternoon. But thankfully, they still have live music at the ballet.
Yep. Thank goodness for that.
Yes, and it's a joy. But
Well,
I do love listening to you play. And I remember I used to go to the Parker House to hear you as well.
Yeah.
And I think I played, the only time I've ever performed on Thanksgiving was with you, like in Salem or something like that, many years
of course. Ago. Wow. Oh, boy. Judith Plant played the key bugle. And we did a program up there that was so much fun. I remember Bruce Hall was on it and a lot of other musicians. That was a great performance, and I thank you for jogging my memory on that. That was a lot of fun.
Oh, it really was. It was worth being late for my turkey dinner to play that concert with you guys.
All right, Don.
She was wonderful.
Thank you for the call. I still
Really
got more people to get on, but thank you. All right, and I am now going to go to Maryland and speak to Harry. Hello, Harry.
Hello, Bo and Bill. This is Harry Appleman.
Harry Appleman. Wow, Harry. Goodness gracious. Harry's used to play in our band when he was here in Boston. He's a brilliant pianist and a great guy. Talk to us, Harry. It's great to hear your voice.
Memories. It was a little while ago. I guess it must have been like the late 80s or something.
Yeah.
I remember playing at the Parker House with you guys quite a bit.
Well,
And,
those were halcyon days, man. You were a brilliant musician and a great guy. We had a lot of fun together.
Very kind. Well, I learned a whole lot from you guys.
Where are you in Maryland?
I'm in Silver Spring, just outside of D.C. So it's basically, working in D.C. and Baltimore, kind of close to both of them. But, I got a lot of great memories from those days. Met so many great players down there. Thinking of people like Phil Person and Todd Baker.
Yeah.
Do you ever cross paths with those guys anymore?
I played with Phil last night. I did a gig with Phil last night. He's playing beautifully. His lines are better than ever. His sound is great. Phil is one of the really great musicians. So Todd Baker played in our band for a lot of years, and we've really had the luxury of working with some really great young musicians, and you were one of those young lions back then. You're a brilliant pianist, and I enjoyed playing with you so much. And my daughter's in Baltimore, so when I come to see her, which could be in the next couple of months, I'll definitely get in touch with you, and we'll have lunch together.
That would be great. Yeah, we've got a lot of catching up to do. Boy.
All right, Harry.
A couple of kids each. Anyway, great to talk to you. Happy holidays and Happy New Year.
Thank you for your call. Whoever takes this line will be the last person to speak with Bill and Bo tonight. All right? I've got a Melinda, a Steve, a Dan, and that line is available for you. So on that note, I'm going to throw it to Rob for our last break before midnight. Time and temperature here on Nightside, heard only on WBZ, 11:39, 41 degrees.
It's Nightside with Dan Ray on WBZ, Boston's News Radio.
All right, I remember this call from the last time you guys were on. He's from Houston, and his name is Dan. Good evening, Dan.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Welcome to Nightside.
Thank you. I'm here in beautiful Houston I work at the MD Anderson Cancer Center, and I take care of some of the most wonderful, courageous patients who are stricken with really bad cancer problems. And, I have to add another dimension to this. And it's so great to hear your voice again, Morgan. So I have to thank Bill and Bo for all the things they've taught me with music that I use every day in my medical work, in my research, in the way I teach the young doctors and nurses. So here's a few of the things I've learned from them. Number one, you got to smile. And I got an email tonight from a patient in California, wonderful gal with breast cancer getting treatment. And you know what she wrote to me? She said, I had a really good day today because the doctor came in and the doctor was in a good mood and was smiling. So that meant to me I was doing well. And I can't tell you how important that is. So those guys, when you see them on the bandstand, they are always having a good time, and they look like they're having a good time. So the people have a good time. It's just profound. They're so humble, but these guys, there's a real pedagogy. There's a real art and music theory and a whole encyclopedic set production art that Bill and Bo go through to plan the songs, the order, how to keep the people dancing, how to keep their feet tapping. It's all about preparing, getting ready, and knowing your audience and knowing what you have to do, getting there early and preparing, looking professional. I once played with Bo at the Belmont Country Club. For years I lived in Boston. I actually lived in Belmont for a long time. We were playing at the Belmont Country Club, and I got there. It was, I think, a Sunday afternoon. And by the way, these guys are ridiculous. I can remember every job they've ever had and every song they ever played on every job. It's really something. Anyway, they're savants. And I got there, and for some reason, I don't know what came over me, I wore a very light yellow shirt and tie and a dark suit. And Bo said, Dan, we always wear a white shirt. You got to go home and get a white shirt. So he sent me home. I got a white shirt, and I came back because, thanks God, I was in Belmont, so I could do it. It only took me 10 minutes. But I'll never forget that. You got to dress for success. And these guys are always looking professional. And, the Modern Jazz Quartet, they were the paragons for this. They always came in a tuxedo for their concert. Always be professional. I learned from these guys, you never introduce yourselves in front of the audience. You always got to know each other. And, by the way, that holds true in the hospital. I work with all kinds of different consultants. You got to know who you're dealing with before you walk into the patient's room and tell them that you're going to do something that's going to be really important in their life. Keep it swinging. And that's about Billy just keeping the rhythm always on and watching the audience to see, what's happening when you're talking to people. We're talking to them about some of the most important and profound things in their life, and you got to watch, how they're reacting so you can help people through this journey of cancer. Every time we'd have a performance, at the end of the performance, we would get together, and Billy and I, we had some of our wonderful times. We would go to the Ken's Steakhouse. We'd go to the Pancake House for steak and eggs at 2 a.m. Yeah. And then we would talk about all the songs we played, and we just do a recap like football coaches. We just go, think about which songs, how do we play them, which ones worked, which ones didn't work as well, how to do better the next time. These guys are unbelievably honest. When they told you that Eddie would have not taken a penny if the people weren't happy, you can be sure that's true. They're always honest. They always show up, and they always produce. In this world where we talk, you can't write anything in medicine and research right now without inclusion, diversity, equity, and access. And these guys are unbelievable. I'll go in reverse order. They're unbelievably accessible. You walk up to Bill or Bo, and they just treat you like you're a long-lost friend. They don't know what a stranger is, and that's an overused term, but they really don't know what a stranger is. They're fair to everybody. We've had people of all different origins, and there's one of the fellows we mentored together, the African-American guy in the Midwest. He's the head of a jazz studies department, got a PhD, came from very humble beginnings. He's written like 4 books on jazz. He's a university professor in the Midwest. They know, you know who I'm talking about, guys.
No, of course, Wayne, of course.
Yeah, and we've all performed together for years. Never forget the melody. Billy and Bo, people want to hear the melody. They want to have nostalgia. They want to recognize the music. I learned that from my teacher, Bill Saltman. If they don't know where the melody is and they don't know where the song goes, they may not be clapping for you, and they may not ask you to come back. Just all these principles. These guys are intellectuals. They'll deny it, but they are encyclopedic. They know so much about the 20th century music, and they use it every day. And I try to use these principles every day in taking care of my patients. And by the way, we got good live music in Houston at the Honor Cafe, our son's restaurant, where I play 2 nights, Friday night and Sunday. Bo, we're going to get together. We're going to have a performance this year down there.
You bet your life we are, Dr. Dan. And Dr. Dan, I want to stop you for just a second in saying your performance tonight on the air is brilliant. You are one of the smartest people I know, and you touch our hearts so deeply with everything you've said in the last few minutes.
Yeah, Danny, I wish I were as smart as you.
And
No,
Dan, I hate.
Brilliant. These guys are brilliant.
I know they are, and Dan, okay, because I got 2 more people I want to get on, but I want to thank you for taking your time, and Happy New Year to you.
Thank you. Well, if you're ever down in Houston, come by and say hello.
Okay, I definitely will. Melinda in Quincy, good evening. Welcome to Nightside.
Hi, Morgan.
Hello, Melinda.
Those are 2 popular guys you got there, huh?
I know that.
Sure are. Hi, Bill. Hi, Bo.
Hi, Melinda.
Hi.
Melinda, one thing I know about you is you love beautiful music, and that's great.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, well, you guys know sure know what you're doing on that end. I just was going to say, I know there's a lot of people. I just think you guys are great. And you're very talented, and I can tell you're really nice guys. So that's very important. Not just to be talented, but to be such good people. And I'm trying to get in there to see you, and I'm going to get in there sooner or later. I plan to get in there. And the other thing I wanted to say was, Bill, you have the most calmest voice. I used to hear you on the radio once in a while. And isn't he very, Morgan, wouldn't you say he's got a very calm?
Very calm, and I've seen him entertain.
Mm-hmm.
I've sat down and we've broken bread together.
Yeah.
And I've heard him call me here on the radio and others. I've heard him call and speak with Jordan.
Right.
I don't think he ever has suffered from high blood pressure. He's always even keeled.
Right. He's very. You're very. He's right there. Like we're not talking. Like he's there. We're talking like he's not there. You're very, Bill. You're very calm. Very soft-spoken. And I used to think to myself, this guy can make cassettes. Not cassettes these days, but like CDs or something to put people. Make them calm. Some kind of a CD that's calming, like read a story or something like that, because you have that ability. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I really appreciate that. Thank you. That's quite a compliment. Maybe I should start reading books on tapes, on CDs.
You could do it. You're very calming. So in a bad situation, you'd be a good guy to have around. Real quickly, I want to say, I think your producer, somebody played a song a while ago, and it caught me, and I just loved it. It was Bo's Nova.
Oh yeah, that's a fun song. Yeah,
that's on our CD.
It was Bo. It was really good. I was wondering, is there any way of getting that?
Yep. Go to our website, winikermusic.com, and it'll tell you exactly how to get it.
Okay, Winiker Music. Okay.
Winikermusic.com, and you'll have a CD.
And it's 2 CDs actually. It's 20 really fantastic songs. It's I must say so myself. We spent a lot of time putting it together, and we made it on our 50th anniversary in the music business, which was 10 years ago, but it's still hot. So go to the website and you'll know how to get it.
I definitely will, because the minute I heard it, I said, I love that. I really loved it. And so I said, I got to see if I can get this.
Well, you
can.
Okay,
well, that's great. Well, I just want to wish you guys happy holidays and good health in the new year. And
same to you.
Yeah, thanks for calling in tonight.
Okay.
We really appreciate it. We look forward to seeing you face-to-face one of these days.
Thanks so much. Me too.
Okay, good night, Melinda. Happy New Year. The last caller of the night, and she has the name of another fan of yours, so I'm assuming you had Ruth 1A before. This is Ruth 1 in Chestnut Hill. Hello, Ruth.
Hi, Morgan.
Hi,
Bill
Ruth.
and Bo. Can you hear me?
Hi, Ruth. Loud and clear.
Okay, great. Well, I'm honored to be the last caller. I am Ruth number 1, and I'm the Ruth that Karen referred to. I introduced Karen to the Winikers. But what I want to say is that I have had the privilege of hearing them play in so many different venues. And they have the best job in the world because they make people happy every single day. And really, what could be better than that?
Nothing.
And they're just the most wonderful. Besides the fact that they're unbelievably talented musicians, they're just the most wonderful people, and they're my dear friends, and I joke with them and say that I'm their sister from another mother, which actually makes me related to Dr. Dan because he's their brother from another mother. So anyway, guys, another great show tonight. And I love you, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Ruth, thank you for the call. Okay.
Okay.
Happy New Year.
Hey, Morgan, Bill and I just decided we're going to do another hour. Let's just keep this thing going.
If I had permission, I would.
I'm just teasing you, Morgan.
But,
Listen,
Bo, I want you to tell your 2 main stories about Muhammad Ali. I've got 3.5 minutes, so go.
Okay, I'll do the best I can. I'm on a State Department tour in 1978, and we're traveling in 6 Soviet cities. Started off in Moscow, and we went through the Ukraine. We went all over, and we were in a place called Tashkent, Southeast Asia, with the Ragtime Ensemble. We played a concert. We came back to the hotel, and we heard a rumor that Muhammad Ali was staying in the same hotel with us. We all flipped out of our minds. We get back into the hotel, and we look across the dining room. We ate our meal after the concert. There's Muhammad Ali sitting on the other side of the dining room with about 40 people with him. He had his entourage with him, and he had people with him from ABC, Wild World of Sports. They were filming a documentary on him. It turned out the next morning he was going to Samarkand to do some praying at the mosques and the mausoleums. So we all go downstairs after our meal into the bar, and all of a sudden, Muhammad Ali comes in the seat right next to me, and he sits in the seat next to me, and I almost jumped out of my skin. I'm sitting next to Muhammad Ali, and he said, I hear there's some musicians here from the United States, so he wanted to find out who we were, blah, blah, blah. Gunther Schuller, the smartest person I've ever known, is sitting right across from him, and Gunther had his mouth open. He couldn't even talk. He was so excited that there was Muhammad Ali. So I said, Muhammad, how about telling us a couple of your poems? He started reciting some poems. I started jumping out of my chair, and he went on and on and on. He said, I walked across the Kremlin, and he said, all of a sudden, from nowhere, thousands of people came up. I was holding babies, and at the time, Robert Redford was the most famous actor in the world. And Muhammad said, you know, if Robert Redford walks across no one will even know who he is. But Muhammad Ali was the most famous man in the world at that time. So he was hugging babies and everything. And so we must have hung out with Muhammad for about an hour and down in the bar back in Tashkent. And so there were about 18 of us down there in Muhammad. And so Muhammad said to me, you know, Bo, there's just something about you that I really like. And out of all the people there, he said, I'm doing a boxing exhibition in Moscow in like 4 or 5 days. Well, we were heading to Novosibirsk, and then we were going to another place, but we were going to be back in Moscow at the same time. So he said, I'm staying at the Rossiya Hotel. I want you to come over, and we'll go to this boxing exhibition. He was fighting 3 Russian boxers. 3 rounds apiece. So I meet Muhammad. I go with him in a car to the boxing arena. I come out with him. There are 10,000 people in the arena. I'm standing ringside with him. He does the boxing, and ABC, Wide World of Sports, is shooting the whole thing for a special on him. And we go back into his dressing room after the match, and he takes a shower and he comes out. He said, Bo, I want you to give me your phone number because I never forget my friends, and I'm going to stay in touch with you. We're running out of time.
We're out of time. I mean, out of time.
We'll finish it next time.
You got it. And on that note, I want to thank both you and your brother. Hope 2023 is a super year for you. I want to thank Rob Brooks. I want to thank all the producers for the Dan Ray Nightside program. Nancy, thank you. Bill and Bo again, thank you. Happy New Year. Bye, Boston.